Welcome to another edition of This Week in Agriculture, a production of the Public Relations Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives. This Week in Agriculture is aimed at highlighting achievements and promoting upcoming events. I am your host, Karima Lewis.
Agriculture and lands, fisheries and cooperatives, linking every sector, promoting food and nutrition security and climate-smart sustainable agriculture, embracing our youth and seniors in national development.
We begin this episode with some exciting banana-related news. There are plans in motion to boost banana production on the island for local consumption. This initiative comes as a direct response to the discontinuation of banana exports from Grenada to the European market, aimed at ensuring ample banana supply on the island.
I believe that there are some OECS countries that do not have the privilege to produce the kind of bananas that Grenada and the Windward Islands are capable of producing. They will make maximum use of that. But apart from the OECS, there are other CARICOM islands that need banana. And outside of CARICOM, outside of the Caribbean, we have countries in some of the US Virgin Islands that the demand is there. And once we are able to solve the transportation problem, I believe a lot of these islands and a lot of these countries will be calling for bananas, and therefore this is a golden opportunity for we to revive that trade again, because all over the world, a banana a day keeps the doctor away.
A second batch of gardeners have received composting bins from the Brown to Gold project.
Promoting backyard gardening to improve access to food, another set of backyard gardeners received their composting bins, an undertaking that will enable them to employ this technique in their backyard. The donation was made possible through support from the Direct Aid Program, DAP, which is a flexible small grants program through which the Australian government supports development projects that contribute to sustainable economic growth and poverty reduction through the Brown to Gold project developed by the Inter-American Institute for Cooperation on Agriculture, ICA, to strengthen community composting. Backyard gardeners like Stephanie Lewis are excited to continue composting in their backyard.
I have done it, and I have done it on a bigger scale than this in terms of using pallets, the size of the pallets as one bin, so I usually require a lot of material. But believe you me, it makes a difference when you're planting because it creates a more healthier topsoil. I have to do some more because with all this heavy rain, most of it has washed off, so definitely. But I encourage everyone who would like to.
As the backyard gardeners will set up their compost bins in their gardens, they are recommended to do a bit of stockpiling first.
I think one of the main things you have to do is try to stock that material up, have it ready, so you could put in, you could set down a bin. Composting is not a difficult science, but there's a lot of things to it. The more you do it, the more you get used to what is required to get a proper compost.
Through this direct aid program, the Australian government is also supporting benefiting communities, including schoolboys and girls that have been educated and trained in the science and practice of compost making, backyard gardeners who have been trained and provided with their own composting bins, along with the construction of composting facilities at the Maribor Plant Propagation Station and the Caribbean Agriculture and Research Development Institute, or CARDI's field station at Oyster Hall.
Strengthening partnership continues to be of major significance to the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives, who played a crucial role in facilitating a one-week training program for regional farming groups as part of the National Learning Routes project. During this event, representatives from the Food and Agriculture Organization and PROCASA encouraged peer-to-peer knowledge sharing. The focus areas included business management, enhancing institutional capacities, and developing innovative member-to-market service strategies. Farming groups from Grenada, Barbados, and the Commonwealth of Dominica benefited from this initiative.
It's been very informative. I've learned the importance of having a strong foundation, prudent management, the importance of record keeping. So basically the knowledge learned, we are basically mandated to take it back to our organization and start introducing and implementing in different areas of the processes or the business operations.
We're looking at operation, how some of the other countries operate, especially Colombia. I think they have very good organization, very structured. They help the organization. They also have a fund for the organization's members so that when the members cannot work again, they could able to get something like a pension. I think this is what we should be looking at as Grenada, so that we could help our members buy inputs in bulk so that we could resell it to them at cost price, maybe a small percent markup, and we're able to let them experience exchange, because this is an exchange program. So we'll be having members traveling along with FAO and POCASA so that they could experience and learn a lot.
It was a vital tool to bring your Caribbean brothers and sisters together to see the good practices, the best practices that you employ here in agriculture in Grenada. It also gave us a chance to see the common challenges that we have across the Caribbean. It was interesting to see some of the innovative ways that you utilize to overcome those challenges, right? So what I found, one thing that stood out for me was the idea of the maroon method, where farmers band together and they would move from farm to farm to give assistance, especially when labor is expensive, so you're not able to, hire extra hands, but you can depend on your neighboring farmer and farmer community to lend some assistance.
In other agricultural news, the recent conclusion of the Train the Trainers workshop marked a significant milestone in preparing for the 2023 agricultural census. Census coordinator Laverne Mapp provides insights into what we can expect in the coming months.
The training was basically to train persons. We call them train of the trainers. So these persons now would be training the potential enumerators and supervisors for our census. We had approximately 16 of them. And so within the next 2 weeks, we are going to be calling the persons who have applied to be enumerators and supervisors. We're going to call them and tell them exactly where the training would take place and at what time. I can tell you now some of the training would be whole day, depending on the parish. Some of them would be from 1 to 5, and there are others from 4 to 7. So the enumerators and supervisors who we could be calling, please take notes so that when you're called, you'll know exactly, you can make adequate preparations so as to be able to attend. When they go to the field, they will be given a certain area to work in, and we call it an enumeration district. So they'll be working within that district, going to all the households who have been identified as being a farming household to collect the information. This year we're using tablets, so it will be online. Just appealing to farmers that you can take a walk around your field or your farm to see exactly what crops you have, and if possible take a count of the trees, because we'll be asking that, and also to verify what is your land tenure, whether you own the land, whether it's family land, or if you're renting, because that is one of the questions we'll be asking also.
The agricultural census is scheduled to take place from September to December 2023. And yet another great partnership initiative, this time around through the support of Caritas Internationalis, a global coalition comprised of over 160 Catholic relief, development and social service organizations spanning more than 200 countries and territories. The ministry has successfully furnished a total of 152 farmers with power tillers and water pumps aimed at encouraging efficiency and convenience and consequently increasing agricultural production. The official distribution ceremony took place at the Chinese mission headquarters situated at Lasajas St. David on August 25. Here are the reviews from two of the beneficiaries.
Well, yeah, when I received the tiller, I saw everybody in the area will be I'll help out one another. But I'll be holding it by me, and then they'll be coming and use it for a little bit. Well, it'll be a little easier instead of after for a whole day. You'll be like, if I might gotta pay somebody to fuck, I could do it myself now. So you might take me like an hour or two to do the work. I might take 4 days or 5 days to do.
At the moment, I have no water at all, and it hurts me to see I'm in neighbor with the river, and I just had to let the water pass me by. So the pump will be, a great benefit for what I need to do. I think that's a very good objective, and I do hope that the people who will get the pumps and the tillers will put it in great use.
Moving on now to more developments, The Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives is receiving support from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization and the Windward Islands Research and Education Foundation WINDREF at St. George's University. This support is aimed at fostering the growth and development of the local fishing industry through capacity building. Recently, a closing ceremony was held for one of the Safety at Sea training programs.
The Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives is receiving support from the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization and the Windward Islands Research and Education Foundation WINDREF at the St. George's University as it continues to support the growth and development of the local fishing industry through capacity building. The Safety at Sea training is one of the activities that is executed under the project Practical Climate Change Adaptation and Fisheries Interventions in Grenada. 19 boaters from St. George are the second batch to have participated in this training, as the partners recently concluded similar training on the sister isle. Noting the contribution of the fisheries industry to the national economy and foreign exchange earnings, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives Aaron Francois says investing in this particular training at this time means well for the industry.
This training is about helping you to manage yourself better at sea, to helping you reduce or mitigate against the risk. If we want to benefit from that resource, not for ourselves, but the generations to come, we have to manage it properly. And whatever we do, we have to conduct ourselves properly, responsibly. And so I want to encourage you, as you graduate and as you receive your level 2 captaincy certificate, I want to wish you all the best. And I want to wish you further development. Yes, I want to, Mr. Rennie, stress the point of your management with your finance. That is a very serious area for us. Because from the ministry side, we will continue to make investment in the fisheries sector.
According to Dr. Trevor Noel, Deputy Director of the Windward Islands Research and Education Foundation WINDREF, the expected result of this project component is to have fishing captains trained to a minimum standard in safety at sea.
In this training of 100 fishers, there are 4 women represented, 2 from Carriacou and 2 from Petit Martinique. On returning to the mainland of Grenada, in particular St. George Parish, we congratulated 19 persons here today, with 1 woman amongst them. Well done to the fishers from St. George, right? Well done, right? We at WINDREF would like to recognize the efforts and courtesies extended by the Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries, Honorable Adrian Thomas, P.S. Aaron Francois, Chief Fisheries Officer Justin Rennie, and you, all the members of the fishing community. In addition, Mr. Roland Baldeo, the program coordinator who has championed the cause of advancement of the fisher folk in Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique over these 3 programs. As we close on the completion of this 3rd consecutive program, it opens our minds to different possibilities. And WINDREF stands ready to be of service and collaborate with this government and others in implementing further fisheries development projects.
As it is perceived that a significant number of Grenadians earn their livelihoods through fishing, Commander of the Coast Guard Superintendent Watson Edwards, who served as one of the training facilitators, commended this initiative. This training is expected to reduce the loss of life or property and the number of safety-related incidences that occur within the fishing industry annually. At the end of the training, participants who meet the minimum training standards will be issued a Level 2 Fishing Captain's Permit.
Meanwhile, members of the Public Relations Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture participated in a regional biospace and integrated landscape management communication workshop on biospace and integrated landscape management communication and writing skills, organized by the OECS Commission. During this workshop, participants were exposed to optimal techniques for preparing communication materials, including the use of photography and videography equipment.
I was very grateful for the opportunity to participate in this training, which assisted in further developing my skills as a communications professional, particularly the use of equipment, data collection, writing, and social media management. This is a welcomed initiative, and I believe it puts me in a better position to serve as one of the national stakeholders who will contribute to the success of these two projects in Grenada through providing communication support. I understand the value of these two projects, namely the biospace and ILM for our country, and their importance to the preservation of marine resources, food security, climate change, mitigation and adaptation, along with preservation of the ecosystems and the essential services that they provide. I look forward to implementing and using the techniques and best practices that was shared by the members of the OECS Commission's communications team and raising awareness on these two projects in Grenada, highlighting the accomplishments and milestones and opportunities for locals under these two projects.
Did you know that Grenada's most recent banana export took place on September 6, 2004, just a day prior to Hurricane Ivan? Additionally, the highest banana yield on record was in 1968, totaling 53 million pounds or 26.5 metric tons. And with that, we conclude this week's edition of This Week in Agriculture. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Karima Lewis.
Agriculture and lands, fisheries and cooperatives, linking every sector, promoting food and nutrition security and climate-smart sustainable agriculture, embracing our youth and seniors in national development.